Peace. Quick little thing fast. Just got like some insight on the Nipsey vibes. Like, don't forget, like, and it's for all of us as a collective, and just in general. Like, again, a lot of us have strong manifestation powers, and we gotta stop paying attention to, fear-mongering energies and certain ideas of consciousness, because I realize to some extent, say for instance, if a bunch of people in essence hold a vibration of like, oh well, if you come out on certain information, you're gonna get transition, you're gonna get killed or whatever. Let's just use the 3D word for, you're gonna get killed if you come out with this information or this and that. By creating that, that vibration consciously, and especially across the board in the collective, then it comes to a point where, we manifest that, just like people being able to fly through the collective. Like, if, say, for instance, somebody had the skill set to fly, it depends on, who they're in front of, in the essence of if they in front of some people who don't believe that just their subconscious cannot fathom at all flying is possible, and there's a bunch of those people to your one person, then yeah, it would be little to no flying that you would be able to do in front of them, compared to, if the people around you believed in flying and knew flying was real, shit, you'd be able to cut flips in the sky, you know what I'm saying? Because their consciousness, again, it's an energy. Literally, we manifest as much as our subconscious allow us to believe in. So again, with that being said, us having a collective awareness of not looking at this energy as, as if, we're gonna get killed or things of this nature. And again, using kill for lack of a better word, because nobody dies. You transition from out of your bodysuit, and, due to, to your level of work in this earthly plane, and realizing that you are, the no thing on the human experience, and that this was an experience that, hey, my child at transition as a little baby wasn't really my child, in the essence of it's just a soul on its journey, passing through. And I just happened to be the portal that it kind of came through, like the energetic DNA portal that it came through, in essence, and just having that awareness that we are souls, again, or that no thing on the a human experience. But again, like, realizing how the collective energy can affect manifestations on that level. And again, it's about energy. And you could check out, not going deep into this aspect, but like in the videos I spoke on, like the fairy kingdom or the devil kingdom, or like, like the genies and being like Pokemon, and how they use, like, say for instance, some of us have stronger pineal power than others. And if I'm a magician, or if I'm somebody, or if I'm just somebody in general that don't really have that magical power, and I know that this realm is manipulated through, through thoughts and through subconscious beliefs, then I know, like, hey, if I could program the subconscious of these beings that have strong pineal power and strong visualization powers, then basically I could magically control what happens in this realm of reality just by controlling their mentals. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And it's a reason why, again, it ain't about going picket and like picket sign against this or picket sign against that. That's why they don't mind you doing that shit, and why you even get a spot in the newspaper for protesting. You know why? Because you're not doing that God shit. But let you start doing some Marie Laveau Haitian, tapping into the energies with the ancestor shit. I bet you they won't have no article in the newspaper about that shit, about you, tapping into those realms, But again, that whole situation with Nipsey and with Indy, and again, I got a video that I spoke on, whether like it was a Think Fast video, and I posted on my Instagram recently. So if you go look at my Instagram, you'll see. But it's like, is it the Illuminati? Is it divine order? Is it the fear mongering from subconscious programming? Like, or is it a mixture of all? You know what I'm saying? It's so many layers to, the way things manifest in this realm. But, definitely off of subconscious beliefs of the collective, Like, the more and more we start to waken up as a collective, then the more and more we're going to be able to tap into these energies. Just like telepathy, like I'm seeing the rays in the energy of telepathy right now, you know what I'm saying? With certain brethren and sisters that I connect with, it's like a strong level of telepathy now. So again, we constantly moving into to these energies of being strong in this area, but we can't, you know, now is the time to really, you know, it always been, but you know, now it's like really tightening up again on our subconscious program, and it's a constant growth, you know, even for myself. Again, as much as people think I'm some type of, you know, guru or somebody who's been studying this for years, like I barely even scrape the surface on a lot of this information on an external vibe from books and stuff of that nature, and still internally like tapping into downloads and insights from my higher self. Like I'm just, you know, and I say just scraping the surface because of course I've been getting insights and downloads since a little, you know, since a youth, like them said, since a youth may get to download them. But you know, again, that collective vibe definitely plays a part, you know, and again, it's multiple parts. Shout out to Dolo the Flight Boss, you know, for bringing up that aspect about the bodyguard and how like again, how it's so much like us meditating our unique energies, especially for those of us who got a lot of water signs in our natal chart. You know, we absorb energies a little more easier. But you know, like again, like, you know, when you get into that place of like, you know, stardom and things of this nature, you know, you got to be aware of the energies that's around you. So it could have been, you know, the energies of, say for instance, like the brother brought up, like of Nipsey's bodyguard that could have attracted that situation, you know. And again, that's just one of the different layers of how, you know, your surroundings or the people around you also, you know, attract certain situations towards you, you know, as well. And I say like it's a, you know, like it's an excuse or external situation, like, oh, it's because of his bodyguard. But, you know, again, he had to, you know, again, or any of us, I just say, generally speaking, you know, you got to allow for somebody to be in your circle. So it does start off with you at the end of the day, you know. But again, where it's like just this aspect of, you know, again, like it's a collective, you know, because say for instance, if all of us like just had this idea of that, like, bro, for sure we don't you know, that we never die, and that, you know, and that it ain't no Illuminati and they ain't got no power over us like that, the more and more we, you know, we accept that type of subconscious programming, that positive type of, you know, subconscious programming, the less likely it would be for somebody to, you know, transition when they're starting to help their communities, you know, at the height of their works, you know. It's like, and you start to see why like certain teachers, certain master teachers or certain people still around, and they even went even farther, you know, say for instance, teachers that done, you know, did way more stuff on, say for instance, speaking out than what, you know, Nipsey may have been doing, but due to, you know, like, again, having that knowledge of like how energy moves and things of this nature. And again, we all, it's trial and error, you know, like Nipsey on this certain purpose and life path, and that energy, you know, again, also plays out as an example for us to realize, like, all right, you know, with the situation of Bob Marley transitioning or Michael Jackson or Tupac, we could see certain things that they may have not, you know, did, you know, it's like, all right, you know, maybe I should do that a little differently because I see how that might have caused this person some trouble, you know. And again, it's not no comparison or no living your life exactly like nobody. But again, if I'm doing something in a particular area, then, you know, it helps for me to learn from the people who came before me, you know. But again, just remembering that collective energy, and for us to stop, you know, giving power to this external energy, and realizing that the power is within us. And if we constantly giving it away, then they could constantly do that. You know, if we constantly giving up our subconscious power, then shit, you know, then that's going to be able to always happen. The more, you know, again, this is like, if I'm a being that could fly high, and I'm battling against a being that fight from the mud, I got wings and shit and I could fly. I'm not about to land in the mud and try to battle a mud being in the mud. And I'm just using that for analogy, you know, because again, or whether I'm the mud being, I'm not trying to go fly in the sky, you know, like whether no matter how you want to look at it, you know, but I'm gonna stay in the place of my advantage. So again, if I'm a flying being and I'm gonna attack from the sky, I'm not gonna try to fight you in the way that you fight, you know, because you're obviously gonna have advantage there, you know. And people kind of still had that pride of like trying to fight, you know, fire with fire, or, you know, try to, you know, fight fire with fire, try to go up against somebody like, oh, they coming like this, so I'm gonna come exactly like. Nah, you know, use your unique power, your unique skill set, which is tapping into your God energy. There's a reason why they have reservations with indigenous people in quote-unquote America, where they, you know, was allowed to have that land. There's a reason why Haiti, one of the smallest islands and one of the only independent nations on this side of Western civilization, you know, that's a reason for that. You know, and it's not because of no fucking protesting and picket signs and marching. There's a reason why they allowed Martin Luther King to do that shit. There's a reason why they're going to allow you to do certain things. Because in some way, form, or fashion, you may be tapping into supporting the energies that they trying to promote. And again, it's so much of a chess game just because somebody that's, say, for instance, an entertainer or a star, you know, and they being promoted. It's not necessarily that they have the objective to try to harm the masses, but, you know, whatever they dealing with somewhat promotes the media's agenda, you know, so that's why they get promoted on some way, form, or fashion compared to, you know, a Dr. Sebi where you ain't never hearing, you know, again, and that ties back to the Nipsey situation, you know. But, you know, it's just for all of us collectively to have that awareness, to realize how important, you know, that's the battlefront, our inner being, our subconscious mind, you know what I'm saying? Not let nobody you know, take us to a place of, you know, having heavy heart energies, you know what I'm saying? And realize, you know, as much as we not, like, say for instance, standing up for something should be through just your heartfelt purpose, you know, you shouldn't, like, being down here in this realm is not about trying to help people per se, but more so helping yourself. And as you help yourself and as you work on yourself, indirectly, your actions are gonna fall into the realm of helping others and add value to other people's lives. But you're not down here to just be head first, so let me like hand out sandwiches to everybody and let me do this and this was going to get me to, you know, because even that concept of this was going to get me to heaven type of vibe. It's like, you know, it's whatever realm, you know, it's different strokes for different folks on our growths, you know, but for sure getting out of this realm is, you know, not letting your heart weigh heavier than a feather, you know. But that's basically it. You know, again, just being aware of our collective, you know, our collective energies. It does play a factor, and that's where our true power at. You know, if I think about all of the powerful beings that, you know, from the ones, for those of us with YouTube channels, for those of us who meditate, you know, and have seminars more to just all, but just, I imagine if like all of us just had a day, or like we plan at like 12 a.m. to, you know, visualize the world as we, you know, would like to see it, you know what I'm saying? And again, starting with internal, you know, working on ourselves internally, first and foremost, excuse me, to be the change we want to see, because that's the earth that really where it starts. It's more so to a certain extent the microcosm, you know, and I got a video on that, like the relationship of the microcosm and the macrocosm. If you type in universal frequencies, macrocosm or microcosm, it should pop up, MICROCOSM. But yeah, you know, knowing of the seven hermetic principles, you know, the emerald tablets, the laws of Jehudi, you know, it was Jehudi, then, you know, the Greek label it Thoth, and then Hermes and Hermes Trismegistus, you know, Trismegistus 3 times great, thrice is great. But yeah, you know, studying those seven laws, you know, tapping into the astrology realm, because that's also, you know, have a lot to do with, you know, again, I spoke on it. I may do that video again if too many people tell me that the wind disrupted that video. But you know, again, it's a ritual. You know, everything. You know, it happened on what it was, the 31st, 343. Because if you you know, you do the numerology, 2019 break it down to 3. You know, and it was the 31st, which breaks down to 4. So 3 plus 4 plus 3 equals 10 or equals 1. And that beginning, that Ram energy. So it's no coincidence that the date had the energy of 1 moving into, you know, that Aries, you know, energy. And we got a Aries new moon coming up, you know. And the brethren was 33 years old. That's connected with the age of, you know, from the how I say, the allegory of the Christ energy of, you know, transitioning at the age of 33, and we got 33, you know, 33 discs in the spinal column, you know, like that whole vibe is a connection with all of that. But again, in the astrology of things, you know, certain things be in alignment to promote certain energies and taking certain actions towards certain energies, you know. Like, that's a real thing, you know, knowing about the moon cycles and things of this nature, you know. And it's a constant growth, you know. It's not something that we may necessarily learn overnight per se. But again, I don't like to like label situations, because again, we all so uniquely different, and our gifts are so, you know, we growing into our gifts on different levels. Somebody may be able to tap into energy, you know, more quickly than the next, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you know, never feel discouraged because you don't. Again, that's where comparing yourself goes wrong. Like, oh, I don't know as much astrology about so and so, so I ain't even gonna study it. It's not no competition. You need to know this stuff for yourself, you know what I'm saying? And not to lock yourself into zodiac signs of like, hey, I'm just a Capricorn, or I'm just a this, I'm just a that. Because at the end of the day too, your full natal chart, like all the energies in your natal chart, you know, has an effect on you, you know. But you know, it's having that awareness, like the forecast, you know, like predicting forecasts, you know, like those energies do have an influence. But you know, with anything, it's balance, to not let something overrun your you know, your energy, but at the same time, you know, tapping into certain, you know, knowledge that may be beneficial to your, you know, to your growth and how you maneuver in your now. You know what I'm saying? Now is to vibrate. What's best for your moment? You know, we know that things may be, and again, though, that is that vibe too. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we don't want to be too far in the future, you know, again, you know, some of us are able to tap into that future realm and kind of have an idea of how to, you know, be ready so we won't have to get ready, you know, or late when the time comes to be ready, you know. But yeah, that's basically it, you know. Again, and just realizing the power, you know, of you know, our focus and our, you know, subconscious mind, and to always, you know, bring up that disclaimer just to make sure. And I try to spoke on it enough to, you know, and maybe this is a little guilt coming up, or just feeling like, hey, let me just say it. But, you know, and again, as I'm talking about the importance of, you know, focusing on the things we want to grow, that don't mean to stick your head in the ground and like, oh, I can't look at anything negative, you know, because negativity is a part of life, you know. It's realizing, again, there's no good or bad, you know, and with positive and negative, you know, that's just two different charges, two different energies in essence, you know. But not to look at one is bad or good, you know, or vice versa, you know. It's just energy. So again, as I'm saying, you know, focus on the things you want to grow. That's not saying, oh yeah, and that just mean only focus on the positive things. Because hey, a battery, it works because it has a positive and a negative side. You know what I'm saying? It's a balance of both sides, you know. And I realized that on my growth, having to work that into my subconscious, you know, of like, hey, it's no good or bad, right or wrong, because I've seen that pop up, you know. And again, you know, just constantly working on it. And the last thing you want to do is be in denial, you know. And that's kind of what the psychedelic realm helps with, because like, you know, especially, but acid kind of harsh with that, like hold on. Like you know, the acid likes to slap you in the face with the situation, kind of like on some Black Obsidian type of vibes, you know, where it really brings up to the forefront, you know, the energies you're dealing with, and that you should be, you know, that would, you know, help you level up if you transmuted it. It shows you that very strongly to a level where you can't deny it, you know, and it hurts your ego because it's pointed out so strongly, and your ego, you know, can't stand to be pointed out on that level. Because again, and when I say die, but you know, like, it's harder for it to, you know, pull the bullshit and hop into that driver's seat if you constantly got that awareness, you know. But you know, yeah, you know, it's time for us to, you know, put the picket signs down and pick up the crystals. Start paying attention to what days the moon cycles on and what energies they, you know, time to read about, you know. Again, not saying, you know, and this don't live it, you know, because again, as I'm saying this, you your own energy, you know, it's what resonates with you, is what your intuition is guiding you to. I can only speak from my, you know, personal journey, and you have to be aware of that. Because all the time, I won't be in every video babysitting saying, you know, hey, you got to follow your own inner guidance. Like, I'm going to express myself, and, you know, again, and, you know, knowing that, hey, if you're watching this by this point, you know, and through watching some of my videos, you should know, like, hey, your inner guidance is very key, you know, so don't just do things just because I said it in a video, you know. And if I say it with a way of making it sound like, you know, you should do this, even if I say it in that manner, it's still for you to resonate with it or not, you know what I'm saying? That's just me not being so guarded on the way I'm wording things sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah, that part. But I'm about to say, you know, again, paying attention to, you know, the planetary aspects, you know, not letting it rule your life. Like, cause just like on the level of like, oh man, I can't go outside if I don't watch the weather, you know, or I can't do this unless I do a tarot reading, or I can't do this unless I look at the astrology. You know, you don't want to be rigid about it, you know, cause again, everything has its balance, you know, and being too rigid in any little area could kind of throw us off. But, you know, it definitely benefits us, you know, to know these things. Again, Ronald Reagan or Nancy Reagan, you know, she had astrologers, you know, that they would consort, and that's a fact, you know, that they would, you know, deal with before Ronald Reagan signed paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Like the 4th of July, all these different dates of holidays and what years they implement them. Like, this is all magic, starting back from when, you know, the Moors, what it was from the year 700, and again, just quote unquote the year 700 to 14 AD, you know, 1400 AD, and when they got to the point of where they built all of the universities in Europe and did all these things, and then like in around 1449 they signed a little treaty thing to Isabella, in which I got this in another video, but anyway, you know, that whole vibe get passed over, and then all of a sudden in the 1500s, you know, Europe has this like Renaissance vibe due to being passed on this information, and that's when John Dee becomes like the most interesting man in the world in the 1500s and tap into the Enochian magic, you know, and Masonry kind of has this kind of, you know, rise in that sense, you know, but so yeah, ever since then, you know, like Shakespeare and the what they call that, the something obscura, but there's a certain little way, it has a vibe almost like Stonehenge, where it's like like a house, like a model of a house in essence, that has windows in certain areas that allows for the sunlight to pass through and tell the story of like what season it is, you know, kind of like Adam's calendar in South Africa, you know, that Michael Tellinger spoke on in his videos. And I used to speak on that too, because that was one of the, you know, the energies I came across early in my growth. You know, and using that vibe of, you know, again, taking what resonate, leaving what don't, you know. But, you know, it's about, you know, yeah, stepping into our, you know, God energies, you know. As you get clearer and clearer within yourself, you'll start to, you know, be guided more what you feel, no matter what the fuck universal frequencies say. You know what I'm saying? If it don't resonate, it don't resonate. You know, if it do, it do. And again, being aware of if it, you know, it not resonating, you know, from that heart perspective, and not the thoughts trying to, you know, create some type of opposition, you know, on some mental level. But again, back full circle to the situation, you know, again, with the Nipsey situation, and, you know, us having that God energy, you know, and also important for us to allow for, you know, beings to transition, to wish them well, you know, transition with clarity, you know, to be able to transition without us trying to hold them here in this earthly plane, you know, celebrating their life, but not mourning in the sense of like they gone. You know, I thought about like the Washita indigenous beings in quote unquote America, or Turtle Island, you know, and that Washita energy is where you get the name Washington and things of this nature. But you know, and the mounds in Poverty Point and that little connection in Louisiana. But I was also gonna say, oh, you see, I almost did it just now. I said I wasn't gonna do it, branching off, but I know it's gonna come back to it. I was speaking on tapping into the energies. And I went back to the Nipsey vibe and speaking on us. I drifted. It was something I was gonna say about Louisiana. Oh, yes, right, about people transitioning, and like in Louisiana, you know, and especially, you know, and more so in New Orleans, you know, in the New Orleans area, where, you know, the second line, when people transition, aka die or have a death, you know, again, that's just quote unquote to our human understanding, because we done got lost in, you know, in this, you know, lower vibrational forms. We forgot who we are, you know, and what we are, you know, in essence. But like that whole vibe of like celebrating, you know, when somebody transitioning, and not like, you know, feeling like somebody died. Like, even again, like, it's a soul mission, you know, like my video with talking about Michael Jackson and Paramahansa Yogananda. You know, a soul is all about us coming down here and having different experiences and learning different things, you know, due to us, you know, being tricked into reincarnation or whatever the case may be, you know. But what, you know, like, again, like with a baby, you know, like people are like, oh, that baby died. That wasn't no baby. That's a grown ass. That's a soul that's, you know, whether it's an old soul or a soul that's kind of, you know, and you say old and young for lack of a better word for the human 3D understanding, but, you know, whether old soul, whatever, like, you know, it's not no baby though, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a eternal energy, you know, that consciously came into a bodysuit. And I had this come to me on a little download of like, you know, like, hey, you don't know, like, and I say you don't know, but it's like some souls come down on some, I want to see if I could come down for a few months or maybe just a year or 3 years and still go back, you know, to that realm and remember, who I am as a soul, you know. That could be an actual mission, you know what I'm saying? Like testing all the different, because remember, I done spoke on that, like Source sitting by itself, being bored by itself, just, as the no thing, just, and it's like, all right, something to create experience, and trickling down from that triple darkness or the three trimesters, like how we are, as above so below, as within so without, created in that triple darkness and having the experience. So of course I'm gonna try all these different, you know what I'm saying, lifetimes, and again, whether purposely being tricked, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, is going through this experience, but again, we as souls, you don't want to get lost in other worlds, you know what I'm saying. You want to maintain your world, or when I say world, WHIRL, the world, the spin, the little whirlpool, the tornado, your Taurus field, you know what I'm saying. Maintaining that energy, but yeah, again, with the transitioning vibes, not holding on, make sure we genuine, like, again, carrying on, like, the legacies in the sense of not doing it just to do it, but, and again, as we start to do the inner work, you realize we all kind of got this knack for, like, like building up our communities and changing up things and moving more into a bartering system, just naturally, not on no forceful vibes. It's like shit, just as we just catching these downloads of how to clean things up, and say quote unquote clean things up, because one man's God is another man's devil. If it's some beings that they thrive in a dirty environment or in an artificial intelligence environment, then that's their God, that's their energy that they thrive in. So, compared to something that thrives in a more natural setting, so that's like that, like in a more natural setting, that how can I say, that again, yeah, that that's their thriving energy. Like that's what makes that energy feels at home, compared to again, that vice versa vibe. And that's the whole thing with Set being the devil and things of this nature. Set is like that first, Set connected to, Sirius, Saltus, Soot Typhon, that in essence considered that firstborn son, that first star from the primordial mother within this, galaxy, so to speak. But when the new dynasties and Kemet came in, they turned one man's God as another man's devil, and they turned Set, into something quote unquote evil. But yeah, just again, tapping into, knowing thyself in so many words, the cliche statement of it, but again, learning from past lives, we find out about certain past lives, what it is that we're supposed to learn from it, but yeah, that's basically it. I think that's it. And again, that's what I was talking about too, and carrying on, again, picking up where certain brethren and sisters left off, and again, I don't know, letting your heart weigh heavier than the feather vibes, but just in alignment with your inner being, do what you love, and be your authentic true self, and everything fall in line, from there, in essence, be in the moment, That's the only thing that exists. You know, what's best for in the moment, you know. But I think that's it now. You know, just making sure. Again, you know, the rest in power posts, you know, all the transition with clarity posts, you know, all of that's, you know, fine and dandy, but it's definitely, you know, like matter of fact, you know, shout out to Young Pharaoh. I think about, you know, him speaking on a little vibe of you know, in so many words, you know, it's like if you like eating a hamburger, you know, or eating, and not saying that eating a hamburger or this and that, like, you know, again, nothing is good or bad, but just the whole vibe of like, you know, like, again, like you know, being a advocate of, you know, those energies as far as like, you know, eating healthy, you know, and learning from the things that, you know, Dr. Sebi taught us, and, you know, our Dr. Leala Africa, you know, teaching and things of this, you know, like not, you know, again, not letting those energies, you know, go in vain, but without, you know, chasing that, oh man, I gotta, like, no, you don't have to do anything that's not in alignment with your soul purpose and what you feel that your, you know, your journey is within this lifetime. And as you get in alignment with that, you know, and that's why I always gotta make that, you know, that's a very important thing that, you know, the energies is definitely speaking to speak up on, you know. But yeah. Again, you know, if we really want to do something, unless, you know, again, you know, as we, you know, building up ourselves, we're gonna, you know, indirectly start, you know, that's gonna spread externally to our communities and things of this nature, you know. Now, again, not on no, we gotta, you know, we have to do this and do this on the economical level, but again, if that show you get in alignment with your inner being and your inner guidance telling you to vibe with that, then that's what you should be vibing with, you know. But you know, again, you know, that energy of source within, you know, it don't matter if you do little things like, you know, and again, you start to see the deception in those vibes, and how, like, and which is a mixed situation. You know, you got some people that are clueless to that situation and feel that when they're marching and doing these things that they really making something, you know. And then too, that's where we see like how, you know, certain people put out information to get us lost in the sauce, and why certain information not mainstream, but yet it still resonates with the soul so strongly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, certain information from a Gerald Massey book or Rudolph Steiner, you know, like Cosmic Memory from Rudolph Steiner. I forgot the one by Gerald Massey, or that one by, you know, Celestial Ship of the North. You know, that's another one. You know, but these books resonate. Celestial Ship of the North was banned in 1993. You know, they don't ban books that You know, yeah, you know what time it is. But again, don't let nobody, you know, try to take your heart chakra energy out of place. You know, it's like that's the little chess game. Certain people promoting the love vibration, but on some blind, having to be nice and not authentic type of, love type of, which is not real true love. If you're not being authentic, but it's definitely about, that that love energy, that unconditional love energy, you know, and it's not the hate or the anger, or holding a grudge type of vibe that's not gonna be helpful to your soul or your energy transitioning out of this realm. But that's basically it. So, yeah. Peace, peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Also, remember, if you like the videos, hit the like button, and if you vibe with the content, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the little bell symbol to get the notifications of when I do live videos or when I post a new video, so you can see right when I post it. Because some videos do kind of have a time sensitivity to them, and link. My donation link is underneath the description of most of all my videos, along with the links to my Instagram. I don't too much use my Twitter that much anymore, but that's up there. But yeah, the no thing. Experiencing, not to get lost in the sauce. Happy now, yeah. Peace, peace.